Let's continue our discussion of the name list management page by scrolling down to the Internet section. E-correspondence is an add-on feature that allows you to send receipts, pledge statements, and pledge acknowledgments by email. If you have not purchased this feature, then you will see email fields here instead of the link, the e-correspondence link, and you'll be able to enter 3 email addresses in those fields. If you have purchased this feature, you will see this link. You can also go to the Other Pages drop-down at the top of the page and go to e-correspondence preferences in that way. Both the link and the Other Pages drop-down take you to the same location. The subject of e-correspondence will be covered in more detail in another training session. In the Development Management section, we first see a checkbox for PowerTracker. PowerTracker is a mass marketing tool that is included as part of the standard Denari. It is covered in more detail in another training session, however. We can quickly say that it puts all of your name records on one of 6 tracks: Introduction, Solicitation, Contributor, Lapse Contributor, Inactive, and Unassigned. When this box is checked and you run PowerTracker, Denari will include this name record in that process. If the box is not checked, Denari will not include it in the process, and you can manually assign this person to a track. The source field is the appeal code that was assigned to this name record when the new name record was added. It tracks where this donor came from, or in other words, what fundraising function generated this name. By default, it can't be changed. The assumption here is that once a name record has been added to your data as a result of a fundraising effort, that never changes. However, if you do need to change it, you can go to the Admin tab and then to Company Preferences. You'll find a checkbox there that will allow you to make this an editable field. You can make the change, save the record, and leave it as an editable field, or go back to Company Preferences to change the setting back. And because I know there's sometimes some confusion about this field, let me say that this field is not related to gifts or pledges. This simply tells you what fundraising function generated this name record. If they give gifts in the future, those gifts may be the result of a different fundraising function and are not connected to how you acquired the name record. We also see the jurisdiction and caseworker field in this section, and they're covered in the section on code, so we won't duplicate that here. The suppress receipting checkbox is used for 2 reasons. The first reason is that it can be used for anyone who tells you to stop sending thank you receipts. Once the box is checked, when you print receipts from the batch, Denari won't include this donor's receipt in that output. The second reason to use this field is that there is a statement called Pledge Combos that is available. They take the place of receipts and require that this box be checked. If it's not checked, Denari will not produce a pledge combo for this donor. Quite frequently, we get tech support messages asking why, when the user prints receipts, the donor's receipt isn't included. The answer quite frequently is that this box is checked, so if that happens to you, remember to check the name record. The last field in this section is the rating field. This field is used with a feature called Targeted Ask Values, and this topic will be covered in another training session. In the Notes section, we have 2 fields, General Notes and Post-it Notes. General Notes are just that. You can add anything you want to this field about this donor. Some users use this field to record contacts that they've made with this donor. That's okay, but there is a contact module that allows you to record that information there. That topic is covered in a separate training session, but if your contacts are limited, then this might be a good location for those notes. The contents of the Post-it Note field will show in gift entry and in the contacts record mentioned previously. There are several examples of how this might be used. For example, let's say that this donor normally donates to 3 of your staff members. You might include that in this field so that the gift entry person will be reminded of that during gift entry. Or maybe the donor calls to let you know that his or her spouse has passed away. You can include that information in this field so that someone who's making contact with this person will be reminded. You can delete the information by simply coming to this field, deleting the text, and hitting save. At the bottom of this form, we find the online community platform, and that section will be covered in a separate training video on online community. The last thing we want to talk about is the button bar that's found both at the top of the page and at the bottom of the page. We've already looked at the other pages drop-down field. Now let's look at the buttons on the left. First is the Save button. This one is pretty intuitive. You'll want to hit this one after making any changes on the page. You can also hold down your Alt key and while clicking the S key at the same time to save the record. The next button is the Lookup button. Clicking this button returns you to the name list. This is much faster than going to the Donors tab and then Name List Management. You can also hold down your Alt key and hit the L key for the same result. The Undo button will do just that. It will undo your changes up to the point that you've hit the Save button. Once you've saved a record, you can't undo anything at that point. The green plus sign is the Add New button. Clicking this button will take you to the new name screen. You can also click Alt and N to get the same result. The red X, which is missing from this name record, but you'll find it here in between this one and that button, is the Delete button. This button will only appear on the button bar when the name record does not have a gift history, and that's why the X is missing in this record. Denari will not allow you to delete names with gift histories. Part of the reason for this is that normally you want to keep a complete history of your donations for legal reasons, but also deleting records with other records attached can be a complicated process from a database perspective. It's safer to keep them. To the right of the red X is the Print button. Clicking this button will produce a report that summarizes this name record. It included the name and address, giving history, pledge history, classifications, etc. This report will go to your inbox and you can pick it up there. And then finally, to the right of the Print button is the Customize button. This topic will be covered in a separate session as well, but it does allow you to make some customizations to this page. And finally, the last topic related to the name page is the Power bar. You'll find a small icon over here on the right of the page that looks like two little people. It slides up and down the page as you scroll. It's an alternative way to move within the various pages of information for this name record. It does not move to other names, only within the pages of the name record you're on. For example, if you want to see the classifications for this donor, you can go to other pages and then classifications, and we'll just go ahead and do that. Now, once we're on this page, we can click the link at the top, which will take us back to the main name page, and from there you can go to the gifts page. But an alternative is from the classifications page to click on the Power bar icon and then go to gift history. That will take us directly to the gifts page, which will save us a few steps. This concludes the session on the name page. The job description for adding new names should include reviewing this page each time a new name is added to be sure that the correct classifications have been selected, that the correct name type is selected, the contact name and DEAR fields are set up the way you want, and any other fields that are important to you on this page are set the way you want. As always, if you have any questions about this topic, please contact our tech support office by clicking the tech support button at the top of the Denari page.